Hello, everyone. This is Animezingly Baka, the amazingly stupid podcast all about anime and movies and TV shows and manga and comics and books and music and I don't know what else. Anything except video games, of course. I am to double up on the of courses. Of course, your host, Marcus Nez. Hi, how you doing? Hopefully well. I just woke up not that long ago, Sunday evening. Had a good day, very busy day. Mother's Day. For all you mothers listening, don't know how many mothers are listening. My audience skews a little older, so potentially a fair amount of mothers. Happy Mother's Day to you. I had a friend say that their kid told them to watch Andor because Cyril and his mother are just like their relationship. And if you heard that too, maybe don't watch Andor. I would also tell that person, don't tell anyone else your kid said that because it's not a positive thing. At least it's not some weirdo, I don't know, abusive relationship or anime-ish weird incestual relationship. It's a very relatable relationship. I think that's why it fits and why it stands out in the Star Wars universe because it is a very relatable and different type of relationship you don't really see in Star Wars. And I've enjoyed that's been one of my favorite parts of the series going forward because I was down on it during my rewatch. I even think I talked about it here. We're jumping right into Andor. By the way, Last of Us. We'll wait till after the Andor stuff, but I feel like my broken recordness with The Last of Us season 2 means there's no real point in talking about it. Also, the fact that it comes out before I record this or right after I record this, so I'm always a whole week behind. It's a whole thing. No one needs to hear me talk about, oh, guess what? This episode sucked too. Spoilers, episode 4. I didn't like it either. Big fucking surprise. But with Andor, thinking back, reflecting back on my rewatch of season 1, I was definitely more down on the son-mother relationship because upon reflection, I was just like, you know what? I like this weird thing. And as they built upon it in season 2, I appreciate it more. So let us get on to arc 3. The is it penultimate? Is that the term for the one before the last? Whatever it is, the term. The third arc, one more arc to go. I believe it's only 12 episodes. So I'd be surprised if it was a 15 episode season 2. But these last 3 episodes, episodes 7 through 9, were quite good. Though they really shined in the middle episode, episode 8. It is the best arc of the season so far. However, I think episode 8, potentially the best episode of the series as a whole. I really, really, really liked episode 8. I don't think, like every other episode of Andor, it stands on its own well. You really need the context, the build up to that moment to have such a, and spoilers from here on out, to have such a great episode and handful of moments for Cyril specifically. Seeing another side of him, a darker, angrier, violent side, it was nice to see. And the actor who plays him did a great job with him through the entire episode. When he confronts Daedra, he is scary in the moment. And you can see it in her face that she is befuddled by seeing this side of him, not understanding what to do. And it's clear in their dynamic right there in that scene that she is completely blind to what the Empire is doing. She is just blind faith. Like we did good here. We did good here. It's all over. We can finally go and just relax. We did a great job. It's all over now. We're good. She is just completely mind controlled. Just there is no gray area with her. Whereas it's clear with Cyril, he was falling into, and I think they did a good job with his character of showing us someone who is more willingly ignorant and naive to the situation, ignoring the obvious, regardless of how obvious it is. And when it gets to such a point where he can no longer ignore it and has to figure out, not figure out, but just see what's actually happening, he doesn't know how to deal with it. Because he's not, a lot of people want to just say, oh, he's a douchebag, he's a bad character, he's a bad person, so on and so forth. I think he's a good character showcasing how someone can, through lack of exploration, really trying to seek the truth out, can fall into a place of complacency because it's just easier that way. But seeing him confront Daedra was great. And then the later confrontation with Andor was thrilling. The way he just charges in at him, and the whole fight was so well done and so exciting, thrilling until the very end where Cyril meets his demise. And the way he meets his demise is satisfying. However, it was a little not disengaging. It took me out of the moment a little bit just because it was clearly a plot armor moment. Why did Andor survive that moment? Plot armor. That's the only reason. If not for the fact that we know Andor survives and Rogue One and all of that, he would 100% die in that situation. Cyril had the upper hand on him. Cyril whooped his ass. Cyril had him in his sights, ready to pull his trigger. And it would have been a great moment where Cyril, this whole time, has been searching for Andor, and Andor didn't even know who Cyril was. And then when all that happened, Cyril can kill him and find out that brought him no satisfaction. On top of the fact that it just we didn't get that, and we were never going to get that because, again, plot armor. But it was a great, great episode. I am also a little annoyed by how on the nose with all the French shit they were, the French Revolution comparisons with the Gorn people, right? Is that the name of the planet and the people? I wish they just weren't so fucking French. I get it. It I like that is what they're drawing upon for these people and this part of the resistance and the revolution and all that. I just wish they didn't also dress like French people. Have them dress like fucking Star Wars characters. There's like one of the main dudes in the resistance there. He has fucking like a long sleeve shirt, rolled up sleeves, suspenders, one of those stupid fucking French hats. I'm just like, how French do we have to get here? Why are they so fucking French in all ways? And I read that their language is some kind of version-y thing of French, and the accuracy of that, I don't know because I don't speak French, but I'm assuming that's correct. I also read that they hired only French actors, which may or may not be true because that's a lot of actors, and that would make sense, but why do they have to fucking dress like French people too? All right, we get it. We fucking get it. And if we don't get it, if you don't get it, having them dress like French people is not going to change that. Then you're just like Cyril, but you're Cyril when it comes to understanding that the Gordon people are just French. They're just French people. But it's a really solid arc. I think the first episode and the third episode were good, but the eighth episode was so much better, or such a strong high point of the series in general that I feel like they kind of were lessened because of that by being the two pieces of bread between the juicy innards of your sandwich. But I'm curious where the final arc is going to go. I feel like it's going to be a pretty meh arc that is just it's just a connective arc between the series and Rogue One. But we'll see. We'll see. Bix, is that her character's name? What a fucking nothing character. The way her storyline ends, it's just like, oh, all right. Maybe he'll get a message, some phone call that says, "Oh, by the way, she died." Like, oh, boo hoo. I don't think. Ugh, just a nothing character for me. So, good riddance, I guess. I'm curious though what we're gonna see in the final arc. Just in that we still probably are gonna get more Mon Mothma, I would assume, and then of course the building of the relationship between Andor and the droid. I forget the droid's name. More of the Skarsgård character and his other half, who clearly is taking control. Because he feels borderline like he's hitting dementia. These spaces where he's still in charge, but is he really still in charge? And then who else? Maybe some Saw Gerrera stuff. I don't know. But I feel like this was the real high point end of the series, and the next arc is just going to be, hey, let us connect everything. Let's connect the dots. Let's connect the rest of the dots and get you to Rogue One, and then move on to episode 4 and so on and so forth. But it was a really strong arc with potentially the best episode of the series, which again doesn't make it a great standalone episode. So I think those high points, those positive points need to be tempered a bit, just in that, like with The Mandalorian, I've said this before when I was doing my rewatch, where for that one, I think the prison break would be my highlight of that season. It doesn't have any standalone episode like, what is it, the 7th episode of season 1, where they have the big fight at the end, or even a few of the other ones, episode 8 of season 2, where he takes off his helmet and so on. There's no great standalone episode where it's just great on its own and you don't entirely need context for it. Yeah. Andor season 2's been solid. After a rocky start, arc 2, solid. Arc 3, really, really good. Arc 4, we'll see. To continue with the Star Wars before I move on, I forgot to mention it last episode. I have been sticking with Star Wars. Well, yeah, I guess is it Star Wars: Jedi? no, Jedi, Young Jedi Adventures. I was like, there are 3 words in this title, but I'm almost done with Young Jedi Adventures, and I've had a really good time. It's definitely lower overall in my list just because of the fact that it is geared towards kids. There are family moments in it, but it's definitely more of a kids show than a family show. But it's just a really strong, solid show for what it is. If I had a kid and I wanted to get them into Star Wars, I would 1000%. One thou I'm sick of the 1000%. I would for sure start them off with this because it's a very bright, colorful show. It looks really good for an animated show. The characters are great. Nubs is so good. I forget which episode it was, but in one of the episodes, one half of them was a Nubs focus episode, and it's the best of the series. Nubs is so good. It would it would be nowhere near as enjoyable if Nubs wasn't there to just be adorable and funny and just one of the best Star Wars characters. They're not in my top 5, but Nubs may arguably end up being in my top 10. I love Nubs. Even though he's just Stitch in Star Wars, I don't care. He's adorable. I want him. Give me a Build-A-Bear Nubs or a Care Bear Nubs. Give me something. I want a fluffy fucking Nubs in my house. But the storylines are all pretty solid. There's a lot of good kid geared messages in it about being a good person. No, not, it's I don't know. It just has good messages. It's a good show. I enjoy it. The only thing I find amusing is that if you really stand back and look at it, it's kind of insane that they're allowing these 10-year-olds to just go off on missions on their own, missions that are often dangerous. There are ones that are just kind of whatever, but there are plenty of dangerous missions that they're going off on. It's like fucking what what kind of this is a choice for training, and I don't know if I agree with it, but you do you, I guess. Yeah. It's just a solid kid show in the Star Wars universe, and I dig it. I don't like the older people when though I don't mind the adults. Get this fucking West character out of here. And this dinosaur looking pirate, just give me the Prince pirate. Uh, I don't need this dinosaur who looks like a reject from that dinosaurs sitcom show that a lot of you are probably way too young to even know what that is. But yeah, I was gonna say, but there was a show with animatronic and puppet dinosaurs that was basically just Roseanne but dinosaurs, and that's gonna help you because you were I maybe you know what Roseanne is now because of the I don't know their last name, but they did that. It was one of the first re not remakes, but what do you call it? Bringing it back? I didn't watch it, obviously, and I think it was just called Roseanne until Roseanne was canceled for I don't know. I think she said some political shit, or she was just a Trumper. I don't know. Anywho, that's enough of Star Wars. The Last of Us season 2. I feel like there's no real point in me belaboring the point week after week after week again because I record this just before the newest episode comes out, so I'm always one whole week behind, and I have nothing new to say. Guess what? Episode 4 didn't like it. Spoilers, didn't like it. Didn't like any element of it. I thought it was very funny the way they handled the reveal of Dina being pregnant and Ellie being immune, where it's just they get to the theater and Dina sees that Ellie's been bitten, and she's like, "Oh shit, I'm gonna have to kill you." And Ellie's like, "No, no, 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 I'm immune." Just you know what? I'm gonna go to sleep here. You stay awake, keep the gun trained on me. If anything happens, kill me, but just, wait it out and you'll see. And then it just you just get this moment after the night when she wakes up, "Oh, I'm immune. I'm pregnant. Let's fuck." I was like, "All right." I don't because they didn't have that moment in the game. I don't think 'cause it happened earlier at the pot place. So, I don't believe they fucked or anything at the theater. I think it was she was just sick at the theater at that point, and that's how they revealed her being pregnant. But I just don't like any of the choices they're making with the show. To be positive before I move on, I will at least say that Jeffrey Wright reprising his role in live action as Isaac, I think so far, Isaac is a much more interesting character in the show. But I don't think that's hard to do because he was a real nothing character, maybe the weakest character for me trying to think about all the main characters in the game. He may have been the weakest character to me because he was talked up a lot. So when you finally meet him in person in the game, for me, it was a very, oh, that's it moment for I was just like, okay, I'm fine, sure. And how the rest of the story goes and ends like, oh, all right. I was satisfying conclusion of this whole thing, but at the same time, I never felt much of anything towards this character. Just somebody who I heard a lot about, and when I finally met them, I was like, oh, that all? But I feel like they're probably going to explore his character more and build him up a lot more so that when you get to the conclusion of his part of the story, it's going to be much more satisfying. Except maybe not because I just cannot get behind this show's version of Abby, and it's all down to the casting. So there's no way for this show to make Abby. You can't get around the casting to me. No matter how good of a job she does acting, it just she's so fucking tiny. Yeah, that's enough of that. Then I think I'll just jump into anime. I don't have too much to talk about this week, I don't think. Except speaking of anime, one, let me just go to my list to get to my rewatch before getting to seasonal stuff. I'm almost done with season 1 of Fire Force, and I have been enjoying it a lot more than I was expecting. I think I said on a previous episode that I originally gave the first season a 7 out of 10. And right now, with about 4 or 5 episodes left to watch, I am wavering between an 8 and a 9 because I am having a great time. I like the story, I like the characters. It looks so good as well. I just have almost nothing but good things to say about it. However, the fan service stuff still does get in the way. It is a distraction, and it's so much more frustrating this go around because I am liking the show so much that every time it happens, I think to myself, why? Why? Why is this Lucky Lurcher fucking character? Why? Why in this fight between the Eighth and the Whiteclads does she have to defeat her opponent through stumbling and then 69ing him? 'Cause I think that's what happens with her, where or no, that's a completely different thing. That's where she was walking by Shinra, I believe, and she just trips on I think they're just standing talking to each other, and they cut to, "Oh, wait, actually, I tripped, and all my clothes fell off, and now I'm 69 in you." And he's just standing there like, "How the hell did this happen?" And it's that kinda stuff that's extra annoying where there's not even a real like, it doesn't even make sense why she ends up in these situations. It's not like she stumbled or she's clumsy and falls into these situations a lot. Sometimes the show just to make it happen, it's like, whatever. She fucking just they're standing 10 feet away, but she is going to wave by, and that somehow makes all her clothes come off, and now she's 69 in him. And it's like, "Oh, alright," but she uses that to defeat I think his name was Assault. I was just like, "Oh my god. Why can't you just be a good character who is a bit clumsy, but doesn't defeat characters through this side of her, and actually through her ability and strength?" No, it's always gotta, "Oh, look, you see my ass in your face, don't you? Ooh la la. Oh my god, I can't take it, Assault. I'm gonna pass out from it." The funniest thing about that, though, was after she knocks him out with her ass up in his face, then she and the nurse, not the nurse, the sister, they beat the shit out of him. Holy crap. They had like a pillar hiding him, and I think, the Lucky Lurcher character was just punching him with her fists, and the sister had a pipe or something, and they just went to town on him for maybe 30 seconds straight. And then they cut to him, and they have the blurred out stuff to show them, "Oh, we can't show you how bad they whooped this guy's ass." But my god, did they beat the shit out of him. But I'm really enjoying my rewatch. Shinra's a great character. I remember Shinra being more stupid than he actually is. It's really just Arthur who's the idiot, and he's a funniness. That's the thing. We don't need the fan service. It's such a fun show. It has a great sense of humor. You remove that, it has a really solid story that I'm interested in, I'm engaged with. I like all these characters. When they introduce new characters, good and bad, I'm excited to see where their story plays out. I really like what is his name? What is his name? Give me the full character list. And Tamaki, that's the Lucky Lurcher. I wanna know her name and not just call her the Lucky Lurcher character, but I really, really like Benimaru. He is just he's fucking the most badass character on the show so far, and I like his demeanor. His demeanor fits my general vibe a lot, but I'm having a really great time with it. On to seasonal stuff. Watched Witch Watch earlier today, and that continues to be a nice little side show. It didn't quite fall into the 3 act or 3 skit structure this past week. It was more of a 2 part structure, though kind of all related to the same vibe, I guess, where the first bit was about the witch wanting to get the attention of the ogre, and she uses the crow boy to blow her hair as they're passing by each other in the walkway between, I think, the gym and the class, because he's going to get some food from the vending machine during lunch. And she's basically trying to get him to notice her, fall in love with her. And she and the crow come up with the plan that, well, if her wind's blowing in the air, it's going to be this beautiful thing that he can't not see. and it's not really working. He's a little confused too by how the wind's only affecting her, and then they ramp it up, and then she starts to look like fucking Mob from Mob Psycho, and he's freaking out. Teacher freaks out, and she's just like, am I beautiful?" With then this very creepy expression on her face. Fun, fun stuff. And then the rest of the episode is following as she gets what she thinks after one of her friends says, "Oh, this is probably a confession, a love confession from another student when they're going to go on a field trip to this park." And it doesn't end up being that way. It's him and all these other boys wanting her to give them a love like some help, like yeah, Sprinkle does. I don't know the term I'm looking for. But the rest of the episode just follows as she is getting chased by them. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids herself, then falls into the pocket of the ogre where he gets confessed to. And when he's confessed to, he says, "No, not interested." The confessor asks him, "Well, is there somebody else you love?" And he's like, "No." She gets all sad in his pocket, but he's like, "Oh, there is someone who's precious to me," referring to the witch. And the confessor asks him, "Well, what's the difference? Can you think of a moment? If there's someone you love, then there must be some moment you can think of. Can you think of any moments?" Like, "Oh, I don't know if I love her, but I can't think of a moment where something or other happened." And it was a nice little sweet thing. I like the fact though that the crow boy is not a fellow love interest, a rival in that sense, and that he's very supportive of the witch in helping her be noticed by the ogre. So I like that there isn't this love triangle going on because that I enjoy that in series, but I don't need that here. This is a very light show where also the romance is kind. I'm not super invested in it. Uh, it's just a nice little show. My Hero Vigilantes. What was this latest episode? It definitely Vigilantes is falling into a I like it, but it's not sticking with me space where now I'm trying to remember what even happened. You had the eye patch lady give drugs. The dude got bulky again. Oh no, it was a pretty good episode because it gave us some backstory on the crawler and the I should just click through these things to get the characters' names through Koichi and Kazuo. So you'll learn that many years in the past, Koichi, on his way to the hero test, he was late because he stopped. He was already running late, but then he stopped on the way there to save a young kid who was drowning in very shallow water. He finds out that it's very shallow, but he jumps in and saves this little kid who he gives one of his hoodies, these collectible hoodies he gets, the only one he's missing now. And you find out very obviously because they have the same color hair that the young kid who we thought was a little boy, because it's a little kid, so she hasn't developed. It was actually Kazuo. And yeah, it was a nice little character building moment that it's a thing where maybe we'll get more of that exploration and maybe a little flounder in romance. I think what I like, even though it's not quite sticking with me, and it could also be part because it's kind of a Last of Us situation where the new episodes come out pretty soon after I record this. So it's the furthest away from my recent memory. But the thing I like about it compared to My Hero, and I don't know if it's going to change, we also had the introduction of a new Vigilante who's a murderer, so not the best dude. He's just going around killing people, and his sights are set on the bully, the main bully from the first episode. But I like that it's not a humongous cast of characters, because with that in My Hero, it means that there are so many characters and so many end up not getting their time in the limelight. So that there are characters I think for a lot of people with My Hero, they don't actually hate Deku as a character. It's just that there are a lot of more interesting characters surrounding him that they would like to see explored more. You have Bakugo, you have oh, it's not Shizuo, the Fire and Ice. Yeah, there are so many more characters in the show that are more interesting. And here, since you have a smaller cast of characters, I feel like we're gonna get it's gonna be a much more satisfying thing that's not constantly just jumping between so many characters that you never really get a feel for any of them. But yeah, the Apothecary Diaries, this latest episode, it definitely feels like we are at the point where we're just gonna follow the rest of this main storyline, no more asides, and it was really good. We got to see a different side, go back to Andor, but we got to see a different side of Jinshi, and that was fun to see him break from his very pleasant, uh, unit character and show some emotion, some high emotions, some anger, and having to be checked by his side dude, Goshen. I love Goshen. Goshen is it's not a a leap to say he's one of my favorite characters because he's one of the more main characters, but I like him a lot. He's on equal footing with Mao Mao and Jinshi for me. I I love him. But it's continuing to be a really great show. I appreciate the Apothecary Diaries every time I watch an episode. It's the kind of show where I watch it, and when I watch an episode fresh off it, I think, man, this show really is great. And then I kind of just forget about it until the next episode comes out. I'm like, oh yeah, this is great. So I don't know what that says about it, but I really like it. The One Piece, I don't. This is another one that comes out the same day. It's One Piece. What do you need to hear about it? I'm enjoying it a lot, and blah. That's the end. But the episode I really want to talk about before wrapping things up, and I save for last, is Windbreaker. I was not expecting such a queer positive episode on this show that is mainly about beating the shit out of people. It's a fighting anime, and I wasn't expecting such a strong, well done, beautiful episode that is so queer positive. It just I loved it. I am, of course, a queer person myself, so it's something that I can look at and relate to, and that definitely helps. But for me, I would have to think about what came out last season, but this episode of Windbreaker is the best episode of the year for me in all of anime. It's not super indicative of what the show is really about, but as a standalone episode, I adored it. I was I don't even think I was super worried, but I figured that the way they were gonna handle this character, what is his name? And I don't know, Tazuku? I don't know the extent of this character because they're just introducing the anime now, but I'm sure with the manga and all that, it's we know more about him. But I am getting the sense that he is transvestite. So you can still say trans. He's a trans person, but when you say that, people usually move towards transgender. And I don't get the sense that he is a boy who feels like a woman, but just likes feminine things, likes to dress feminine, likes to dress as a woman. And this whole episode followed his backstory of how this old man who he sees and helps out every now and again, he takes a few of the other first years uh, with him to help out. And you see his backstory through this old man, where this old man and his wife, who passed away, was it a year ago at this point, were the first to make him feel like it's okay to be himself, to be who he is, to wear makeup, dress femininely. And it was just a really beautiful episode that has a lot of emotion to it and doesn't treat the whole thing flippantly. At no point is it treated like some light comedy thing. It's taken seriously. And when you yeah, I just I I'm still taken aback by how well done it was. Regardless of whether this is a fighting anime or however it's done or whatever it is, when he sees her applying lipstick and it's like, "Oh, she leaves and he sees the lipstick that she left there and he's just looking at it. And it's clear that he wants to try it on and she sees it in him that he would like to try the lipstick. When she applies it to him and he sees himself in the mirror, he starts to break down and cry because he can't understand why this makes him feel so good. When he knows that everyone else is like, this is not the way you're quote unquote supposed to be. And yet he feels so good wearing lipstick when he knows he shouldn't, quote unquote, shouldn't be wearing lipstick because he's a guy and guys don't wear lipstick. Why does he feel good in this? High heels, so on and so forth. And the old couple is so supportive and lets him feel like it's okay to be you. Just be who you are. It, it doesn't matter about this, that, or anything else. Be you. How do you feel? It's it was so well done. And I feel like it's an episode too that will be accepted by a lot of the anime community because I feel like the anime community, as rough as they can be in this way or that way, is more accepting in that space outside of your shonen bros who just want to watch tournament arcs and fighting stuff. So there's a potential that a certain audience of Windbreaker is going to watch that episode and think this is the fucking most disgusting, worst shit in the world. But for me, I thought it was beautiful, absolutely beautiful, and I'm just so happy that we got it and that it was done so well. Good on you, Windbreaker. Good on you. Now get back to people beating the shit out of each other because we're getting about halfway through the season and you don't have much time to build up your tournament arc type fucking thing of the season. But it was great. It was a sweet episode for both that character giving us their backstory, but then also the the old man's story with his wife who passed. It was an arranged marriage, and what he was struggling with was thinking that the whole time while he loved his wife and was so happy, 'cause arranged marriage, you don't know what you're gonna get, but he was so happy with the arrangement, but struggling with the thought that maybe she was never fully happy being with him because he wasn't good enough for her. And when the other characters are talking about, "Oh, look how nice you look here," and another character is saying, "No, the reason why she planted this tree is because she was trying to tell you, even though she may not have said things with words to you, expressed emotions with words, she was telling you through this tree that you're an idiot. Of course, I love you and I see you. Don't be such an idiot." And it was a beautiful, beautiful episode. I loved it. I want to take notes more because I want to be able to talk better about it. And it's also maybe don't record an episode immediately after you wake up. I just feel like I'm not doing it the justice it deserves. But yeah, Windbreaker. This last episode, what was it? Episode 6? Yeah, episode 6. Chef's kiss. Mwah. Loved it so much. But yeah, that'll do it for this here episode of Animezingly Baka. Once again, I am Marcus Nez. Y'all can find me pretty much everywhere at PX Sausage. If you enjoy this here show or any of the stuff I do and what have you can support me and my nonsense over at patreon.com/PXS. There you can get access to a monthly Q&A, a private Discord channel, along with some fancy Discord roles, and the random drop on the Patreon here or there, depending on your tier. Or you can just support me to support me if that is your fancy. That is, again, patreon.com/PXS. In addition to the Patreon, you can find links to the site, the YouTube, the Discord, and so much more over at pxsausage.com. That is the letter P, the letter X, sausage.com. But that is it. That is all. As always, thank you for watching or listening. I hope you enjoyed this here episode, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. But for now, adios, arrivederci, bye
It's go time. Go, Daddy. It's go time. Go, Daddy.